This conference will now be recorded.
Yep. So we'll start. So we'll have a recap of what we have studied in the yesterday's class. So yesterday we are actually discussing about, we started with the features of Pega. We'll have a recap of what we have learned in the yesterday's session. So yesterday we have learned about the features of Pega. So the first feature is auto code generation process. Auto code generation process in the sense. So your PRPC tool will generate the code automatically as per your requirements. So once you configure a form in the background, it generates the code. So this is auto code generation process. The second one is secure application. If you build an applications in PRPC, so those applications are considered as a secured application, because once the application is created, the data or the logic, whatever the application logic that you have written, right? So that application logics are converted to a different format called as an XML format. The applications are converted into XML format and they are stored in the database. Your application logic is stored in the XML format, but whereas coming to application data, those are stored in the form of blob. So data is stored in blob format, application logic is stored in the form of XML format. So with these two reasons, we are considering Pega applications as secured applications. So the third one is tools, the kind of debugging tools that this particular tool has. So we have tracer, we have clipboard, we have live UI and performance analyzer. We have 4 types of tools which are supported for this particular tool. So which makes it very different from other competitors, BPM competitors. The fourth one is APIs. APIs in the sense, so the kind of APIs, the inbuilt capabilities of this particular tool, the inbuilt functionalities, it has around 1000 plus inbuilt functionalities. So almost everything is placed in the tool. So now the thing is, you have to know those functionalities and you have to use them. This is another feature that we have seen. Okay, so next, industry specific frameworks. Like, say for example, if you wanted to design an insurance kind of application, so there is already a framework which is already there in the system. So you have to use that framework and you can build on top of that particular framework. So it has customer relationship framework, it has customer service, decisioning capabilities, insurance, financial, all these frameworks are already placed in the product. The only thing is you have to extend that framework. Your PRPC tool comes with inbuilt frameworks. Sixth one, reporting structure, reporting infrastructure. So one of the features of Pega is it comes with inbuilt reporting mechanisms. So it has huge capabilities of reporting. So you can design your own custom reports without any writing, without any logics. So you can configure your reports and you can derive the reports. So these are a couple of features that we have seen in our previous session. So after this, we have studied about object oriented principles. So why we have to understand object oriented principles is because Pega is developed in Java technology. Your tool is developed in Java technology. So Java is built on object oriented principles. What kind of programming language is Java? It is an object oriented programming language. So because it uses object oriented principles, as Pega tool is using Java technology, okay, it is built on Java technology, so you need to know about object oriented principles. These are prerequisites for learning Pega. So you need not to create object oriented principles, but you have to understand the concepts. So yesterday we have seen two concepts. What are those? The first one is a class, next one is an object. We have seen two different types of object oriented principles in our previous class. One is the class, other one is an object. What is a class? Hello everyone, it's a question. What is a class? If you know, you can tell me. If not, it's okay. Hello.
Our, our business rules can be defined.
Okay. Okay, fine. That's fine. No problem. So we'll tell this. A class is nothing but the description. It describes about an entity. It describes a real world entity. A class is nothing but it gives you a description about a real world entity. What is a real world entity? It can be any entity in the real world. Like example, if you take a tree. So if you wanted to describe about the tree in your programming language, you can describe it via class. How will you describe about a tree? So based on its properties, like what type of tree it is, what's the height of the tree, what's the age of the tree, whether it is a bearing fruit tree or not. Okay, so all the details. So your class captures information about an entity, any real world entity. It can be a book, it can be a pen, it can be a tree, it can be a customer, it can be an address, it can be simply anything in the real world. Okay, so your class is nothing but it's a container of properties and methods of that particular entity. Say for example, we wanted to capture customer details. We want to capture customer details. So if you wanted to capture customer details, you have to create a class called as customer class. In the customer class, you have entities like, you have properties like customer first name, last name, customer ID proof, okay, so on, etc. So generally we don't ask for age, we ask for date of birth, right? So from date of birth, we calculate age. Calculate age. So we'll have some method, we'll have some logic. Based on that logic, we'll create age or we'll calculate age. So this age calculation is dependent on date of birth. So if you provide the date of birth, we'll calculate the age based on the date of birth, because age you cannot capture directly. Age changes every year, right? So we'll calculate the age based on the date of birth. Okay. So now what is a class? Class is nothing but it's a container of properties and methods of an entity. Class is nothing but it is a container of properties and methods of an entity. Here the entity is customer. So entity can be any real world entity. So it describes about an entity is called as a class. So if you build an application, the first task in your designing process is to identify the classes. So for example, you have an insurance application. So in the insurance application, when you start designing, before coding itself, you will have some designing, right? So in the designing phase, the first thing is you will start identifying the classes. In the classes, you will start again identifying the properties and methods in that particular class. The designing stage starts with identifying the classes itself, right? So this is called as a class. Now let's come back to object. What is an object? The definition of object is something like this. Object is an instance of a class. Object is an instance of a class. Say for example, this is a customer, right? It tells you about the customer. Now if I wanted to create a customer, say for example, I wanted to create a customer called as Ram. Now I have to create an instance for this particular customer. That instance is called as an object. Here Ram is an object. Okay, so I wanted to create another customer called as Shiv. I wanted to create another customer called as Krishna, something like this. So all the objects or all the instances of a class is called an object. It is something like this. Your class is serving as a blueprint and the instances are called as an objects. Your class will describe about an entity, and if you wanted to create those entities, you have to create objects for that particular class. So object definition is, it is an instance of a class. What is instance? What's the general meaning of instance? Instantiating means you are actually allocating some memory to that particular thing. Instantiate means allocate some memory, dedicated memory to that particular entity. So instantiating a class in the sense, now you will have a dedicated memory for this particular object. If you create Ram, so it will allocate some memory. In that memory, it will have all these properties: first name, last name, ID proof, etc., date of birth, and calculate age. So all these things, it will allocate some memory. That is called as instantiation. Instantiation, once you instantiate a class, so that instance is called as an object. Next, we'll go ahead. Class again is divided into two types. One is abstract class, other one is concrete class. The definition of abstract class and concrete class is very, very simple. See, the definition of abstract class is, you have a class, right? If you can create instance, if you cannot create an instance, then it is called as an abstract class. The class where you cannot create instances, that is called as an abstract class. If you can create an instance, then it is called as concrete class. I'll repeat this. If you cannot create instances for a class, then it is called as an abstract class. If you can create an instance for a class, then it is called as concrete class. That is very simple, right? Now the question is, why class is divided into two types? Why abstract class? Why concrete class? What is the purpose in your programming language, or when you create an application? So what's the difference? Why should we create an abstract class? At what point we have to create an abstract class? At what conditions you have to create a concrete class? We'll try to understand this. So first of all, you should know about an abstract class. Abstract class is something, you have a class, but you cannot create instances for that particular class. So you might be asking a question, if there is a class, if you cannot create instances for that particular class, then there is no purpose for that particular class, right? See, there is a customer class. If you cannot create real customers like Ram, Shiv, and Krish, okay, then what's the purpose of having that particular class? There is some other usage, having abstract classes. So abstract classes are used for the purpose of inbuilt functionalities. PRPC tool, if you take PRPC tool, it comes with huge inbuilt functionalities. Most of your business implementations are already implemented and placed in the product. All those inbuilt functionalities are placed in abstract classes. The purpose of having abstract classes is to provide inbuilt functionalities. Why we have to use abstract classes? Because to provide inbuilt functionalities for the users. So for that purpose, we use abstract classes. Now coming to concrete classes, if you wanted to create instances, in the sense, if you wanted to run your business transactions, then you have to use concrete class. See, if there is an application, you have to create transactions particular application, right? You have to run business on the particular application, right? All those business transactions are nothing but instances of concrete class. If you wanted to run the business, you need to have concrete class. If you wanted to build inbuilt functionalities, then you need to have abstract classes. So on this basis, your class is divided into abstract and concrete. Got this? Hello? Do you have any questions on class and object and abstract class and concrete class? If you have any questions, you can ask me.
No.
Okay, fine. We'll proceed. So the next thing is inheritance. So till this point, we have learned in the previous class. So today we'll be learning about inheritance. So inheritance is an object-oriented principle concept. So the definition of inheritance is something like this. Reusing existing functionalities is called as inheritance. Inheritance is used to reuse existing functionalities. Okay. So we'll take an example and we'll see. You have abstract class. Okay. Assume that you have a class which adds two numbers, a comma b. There is a class, and in that class there is a method called as addition of two numbers. Assume that this is provided as a inbuilt functionality from the tool. Now, as a user, as an application developer, I wanted to use this functionality. So this functionality is an abstract class. This class is an abstract class. Now, can I create an instance for this particular class? No, I cannot create. If you cannot create an instance, you cannot access this particular functionality. If you wanted to access this function, add a comma b, you have to create an instance for this particular class. Then only you can access this function. Now, as this is an abstract class which has an inbuilt function, now I wanted to access this function because I wanted to use this method in my application. Now, how to do that? Now, what I'll do is I'll create my own class name as custom class, and this custom class will inherit this add class, the above abstract class, add class. Assume that this is add class. Now, if I wanted to use this add functionality, which is already there in the class, which is an abstract class, so if I wanted to reuse this particular function which is already there, now what I'll do is I have created my own class called as custom class. This custom class inherits from add class. What is add class? This is add class. Now, what happens if I inherit? This function which is there in the class will be copied to my custom class. If you inherit, what happens? It will reuse the existing functions. It will reuse the existing functionalities by using inheritance concept. Inheriting means you are taking something which is already there. So the classic example that they give for inheritance is a father and a child. Child is inherited from the father, so he'll have all the features of his father and also additional features to the child. If you take father and child relationship, so the child will have all the qualities of father and he will have additional qualities as well. Similarly, apply the same analogy for this particular classes. If you inherit an existing class, so all the functionalities which are there in the existing class will be copied to your class. Now you can use these functions, these methods, whatever the methods. If you have 100 functions in this add class, you can use all the 100 functions in your existing class. Okay. Let's take a simple example. Class, there is a class called as calculation. This calculation class has addition, comma, multiplication, comma, What else? Division. You have all calculation related functions in your class called as calculation. Now I wanted to utilize these functions. Now I'll create custom class, and your custom class inherits from calculation class. Now how many functions you have in your calculation class? You have add, the one which is coming from the calculation. So all these things will be copied. All these things will be copied, and you will have additional also. Calculate age, you can pass date of birth. So apart from this, your inherited class will have additional functionalities also. Apart from the existing one, it can have more and more functions. Now here calculation is called as parent class. Your custom class is called as child class. For this, the existing class is called as parent class. The inherited class is called as child class, or you can call it as a subclass also. Subclass or child class. So child class will have all the functionalities which are there in the parent class, and will have additional functionalities also. So this thing we are referring to as inheritance. This is the concept of inheritance. Again, inheritance is divided into multiple levels. Like we have single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and a hybrid inheritance. You need not to learn about all those things. It is okay, right? So for now, you understand that inheritance means you are actually reusing the existing functionalities or properties from the existing classes. It's called as inheritance. Now coming to specific to Pega. This is the next topic, is very specific to Pega in terms of inheritance. In Pega, we have two types of very important. In Pega, we have two types of inheritances. The first one is pattern inheritance. Next one is direct inheritance. Okay. In Pega, we have two types of inheritance. Pattern, another one is direct. Both are inheritance only. Both will reuse the existing things, but they are a bit different. So pattern inheritance is something, if you wanted to utilize user defined functionalities. Assume that user defined functions, this is inbuilt functions. How these two things are differentiated is, if you wanted to utilize inbuilt functions. What are inbuilt functions? Inbuilt functions are nothing but which are given from the product, from the tool itself, or from the Pega tool or Pega system itself. If you wanted to utilize the system given functionalities, then you have to use direct inheritance. If you wanted to use user defined functionalities, then you have to use pattern inheritance. Okay. The way the inheritance is differentiated in Pega are based on what kind of functionalities that you are trying to reuse. If you are trying to reuse the existing functionalities which are there from the system, is called as direct inheritance. If you wanted to use defined functionalities, then it is called as pattern inheritance. This is the difference between pattern and direct inheritance. Okay. So now coming back to the abstract class and the concrete class, there is a point for abstract and concrete. So to differentiate between abstract classes and concrete class, abstract class ends with hyphen symbol. Abstract class ends with hyphen symbol. So why? To visually represent or to differentiate between a normal class, that is a concrete class, versus abstract class. Abstract classes ends with hyphen symbol. So this convention is followed till PRPC 6th version. Till PRPC 6th version, all your abstract classes ends with a hyphen symbol. Say for example, there is a class called as work dash class. Work dash is an abstract class. It's end with, because it is ending with hyphen. So now after Pega 6 onwards, from Pega 7, this convention is removed. Irrespective of whether you create an abstract class or a concrete class, it doesn't end with an hyphen symbol. That convention is removed from Pega 7. Okay, so this is the difference that you have to make a note of this, right? So any questions so far before we proceed further? The next topic. No questions? Okay, everything is fine. Okay, we'll proceed further. So the next one is, we'll actually jump into the product, the tool. So this is the environment. So how to, before you actually, to get into this environment, to access this environment, you have to install. So I'll provide you the software. I'll provide you the software. 7.4 is the current version that we are working on. PRPC 7.4.
Hello.
The version, yes.
So yeah, just one quick question. So as you said, like the hyphen concept, like which was defined to differentiate the abstract class, right? That concept is no more present 7 onwards, right? So there is no point of having a note of this one. Just
No, we need to have, because there are classes which are created in Pega 6 also. Pega 6, Pega 5, Pega 4, Pega 3. So all these classes are there.
oh,
So if you take dash, dash is created in Pega 4. So
okay.
that
So those classes are still present in Pega, but from Pega 7 onwards, whatever the new class will be provided, those are not going to have this hyphen symbol at the end, even though it's a
yes,
abstract class. Okay.
yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
For that purpose, we have to make a note of this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? I was telling you about the software, right? So the software 7.4 version, we are working on this, and your certification is also supported on this particular version. Okay. So I'll provide you the software. So you have to install this software in your machines. So the minimum requirement is 4 GB of RAM and 10 GB of hard disk. You have this, and you can install your PRPC 7.4 version, and it supports Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 7 operating systems. Well, once you install it, once you install the software, so you'll get 3 icons. One is this, another one is this, and next one is this. So 3 icons will be copied, or they are loaded into your desktop. One is Pega platform 7.4 login, startup, and shutdown. So if you wanted to make your environment, Pega environment up, so first thing is you have to start this. See here, Pega platform 7.4.0 startup. Once you click on this, so it will run in the background on this command prompt, it will run. So what it will do is, in the background, it will make your server up, your PRPC server up. It will make, and it will take, for the first time, it will take couple of minutes, around 5 to 10 minutes it will take for the first time. So second time onwards, it will take less amount of time. Okay? So now once your server is up, okay, it says the server has started so and so, it will give you some message. Once the server is up, so you can directly click on Pega platform 7.4.0 login. You have to double click on this. Once you do a double click on this, it will open the default browser that is there in your system. So it will open in the browser. Better you can use Firefox or Chrome. You can use your default browser as Firefox or Chrome. It will work best on these two browsers. Okay. So this is platform PRPC 7.4.7.4. It is a personal edition, so which is given by the Pega systems. Oh, it is free of cost. Once you install in your machine, you can use it for lifetime. So there is no certain period, 1 month or 2 month or trial version, something like that. It is not something like that. You can use it for lifetime. Okay. So next, there is a document. I'll show you the document, the installation procedure. So along with the software, I'll provide you the document also, how to install PRPC. So installation process. So in the installation process, you have operating system, Windows 7, 8, and 10. So installation steps: copy the build to C drive, extract the files, open the folder, and double click on the executable jar file. So you follow these steps. Once you follow these steps, so your installation will be successful, and it will not take more than 20 to 40 minutes. It will not take more than 40 minutes. That depends on your configuration of your system. Right? If you have any
I,
issues, you can
I
directly
have a quick,
contact me.
yeah, I have a quick question here. So if your system has already Java installed, and like if you're working some part of the Java on top of, like when you install the software, so there will be nothing, no conflicts or nothing is going to happen in your system, right? These two things are going to run independently.
Yes, yes. There
Okay.
is no conflict. So Mac is not supported. Okay.
And 64-bit, I had a question last time, like whether it's going to support
Yes.
32-bit or it will just have a
It supports
64.
64-bit only. Supports
Okay,
64.
yeah.
Check that. Next one. So how to start PRPC server? The steps I've told you, right? The same thing. Those are documented here. Once the installation process is successful, you see these three icons on the desktop. So double click on Pega platform 7.start.start. So your server starts running as below. Start something like this. So wait for it, depends on your system configuration. Meanwhile, we can click on Pega login. Once the server is up, you see this screen. Okay. So if you have any questions on your installation process, you can directly first you try. If you're facing any issues, you can contact me so that I can help you in your installation process. Okay. Next. Okay. Fine. Once your installation process is successful, and once you come to this screen, so from here on, we'll continue. You have Facebook, you have Gmail, right? So if you wanted to use Facebook, you need to have Facebook ID and Facebook password, right? If you wanted to access Gmail, you need to have Google ID and Google password, right? Similarly, if you wanted to access PRPC environment or PRPC applications, you need to have operator ID and password. This is a technical term which is given to the users of operator, users of PRPC. So users of PRPC are called as operators. Either you are a developer, or you are a manager, or you are a user, or you are an administrator. Ultimately, you are an operator your user of application. All the users of applications are called as operator. Every operator has operator ID and operator password. By using this operator ID and operator password credential, by default, see, initially you don't have any operators, right? So by default, it comes with a default operator ID called as administrator at pega.com, and install is the password. Administrator at pega.com and install is the password. This is the user which is already there in the system, and it is coming with your installation process. For the first time, if you wanted to access your PRPC environment, you have to use these credentials. I think this is also documented. How to start the server, how to create an operator. Let's go to this. Creating an operator, right? Log in with the default credentials which are given below. Username is administrator at pega.com, password is installed. Click on login button. Home screen will appear like this, and yeah, so let's come back to screen. Administrator at pega.com and install is the password. Once you click on login, so this is how your screen will look like. This is your home screen of this environment. So this is called as a portal in PRPC terminology. The one which you are seeing, right, the screen that you are seeing, right, called as a portal. The name of this portal is Designer Studio Portal, the one which is seen in the top left corner. So Designer Studio. The name of this portal is Designer Studio Portal. What is this portal? Why it is used? Say for example, if you wanted to build Java applications, so where will you write the code? You would write in one of the editors, right? Either it can be an Eclipse or it can be some other editors. If you wanted to write C applications, if you wanted to write a C program, where will you write? You will write in Turbo C something. There are different types of editors which supports for creating or writing the code, right? Similarly, if you wanted to create Pega applications, if you wanted to build your Pega applications, you have to use a portal called as Designer Studio Portal. So what is the purpose of Designer Studio Portal? To implement or to develop your applications in PRPC. Designer Studio Portal is used. There are n number of other portals. One is Designer Studio Portal. Next one is Express Portal. Next one is Manager Portal. Another one is User Portal. There are n number of portals, but most commonly used portals are Designer Studio Portal, Express Portal, Manager Portal, and User Portals. So the first two portals are for developers, Pega architects. They will use this particular portals and they'll build the applications. Whether it is Designer Studio Portal or Express Portal. So the next two portals are the actual users of your application. Once you build an application, right? Once you build an application and everything is ready and the application went to the production. Now users will use those applications, right? Now the portals which are supported for the end users, the customers, are Manager Portal and User Portal. These are the two portals which are supported for end users. How these two things are differentiated is Manager will have an additional options like creating the reports, seeing the dashboard, assigning the work. All these things are supported on Manager Portal. But whereas coming to User Portal, those things are not supported. But ultimately, these two portals are end user portals. So that thing you have to remember.
Karthik Pratap here. One more question from here. So when you say
Yes.
user portal, based on the client server architecture, do we need a client side installation for to run the Pega developed application, or it can be run from any UI, just by providing the URL and all these things like we normally use a web application?
So basically, your question is, as when I go for a user or a manager portal, so I've spoke something about the client and the server. How does this web application works? Right? Here, when you're trying to access this particular, when you're trying to access this particular application, so what is this? Is this a browser? This is a browser, right? So on the browser, what is this? Local host. What does local host means? Your PRPC application is installed on a local server. Let me open this. It's a good question, and everybody have to understand this. What is happening once you start the server? Okay. So once your installation process is, so what happens is it will install a server. It will install Tomcat server. Once your installation is successful, what the installation process will do is it will install a server. That server will have PRPC application. Under this Tomcat server, it will have PRPC application. It will install the server and it will install PRPC application. In the background, it is not only Tomcat server. In the background, it installs database. Something like this. Visually, if you represent, it is something like this. This is the database, Pega database. This is Pega DB. So what server will do is it will install PRPC application. This PRPC application will interact with Pega database. Something like this. So visually, I try to represent the thing. So overall, it installs Tomcat server, Pega database, and this database is Postgres database. Okay. It will install database. It will install the Tomcat server. On top of Tomcat server, it will install PRPC application. This PRPC application will interact with Pega database. Now, everything is installed. If you wanted to access this PRPC application, see, if you wanted to access the inner box PRPC application, first of all, what you should do? What is the first thing that you have to do? You have to invoke the server. First of all, you have to make the Tomcat server up, right? Once you make the Tomcat server, see, it is something like this. You have a movie in your computer, in your laptop. You wanted to play that movie. What will you do first? You will on the system, right? Once you on the system only, then only you can access the content of that particular system. Apply the same analogy now. If you wanted to access the PRPC application, which is there in the Tomcat server, what is a server? It is also a machine. It is also like a computer, which has some server, it huge computation capabilities. That is called a server. So first of all, if I wanted to access the content of this particular server, what should I do? I should on the server. That's what you are doing now. If I do this, startup Pega platform 7.4.0, if I click on this startup, what is happening in the background? It is starting the server. It is starting the server which is there, which is already installed in your machine. It will make the server up. Once the server is up, what happens is it will deploy this PRPC application. Once the server is up, it will load your PRPC application and it will establish this PRPC application with the Pega database. All these things will happen once you on the server. Now your application is there in the PRPC application is there in the Tomcat server. Now how to access this particular application? By using some client, right? The first class I've told you how to access a PRPC application. You have to use one of the mediums. What is this medium? This medium is a browser. This browser. Say for example, you have opened the browser and you wanted to access google.com. How will you access? www.google.com you'll give. What is www there? It is the name of the server. It is the name of the server. So once you click on google.com and enter, it will go to that server. It will hit the server and it will get the content google.com and it will load onto the browser. Similarly, PRPC application, you wanted to get PRPC application on your browser. So what is this server? It's a Tomcat server. Where is this Tomcat installed on? It is installed on the local machine. It is installed on the local machine. For that reason, we use local host. If you wanted to access something, a server which is there in your system, you have to use local host. Localhost colon 8080. 8080 is the portal. It is the name of the port. In the server, you have different ports. So you are selecting 8080 as the default port. And in that, what is PRWeb? PR is the name of the application. It is name of your PRPC application, PRWeb. Once you invoke the PRWeb, your application, PRPC application will be initiated and it will load onto your screen. So this is happening in the background. Okay. So now assume that I have designed an application called as some leave application and I've designed from this particular tool. Now I will go and I will install, I will deploy it in the PRPC environment. Now end user portals will have what type of portals? Those are user portal or manager portal. Okay. So now what they will do is if your PRPC environment is there in the local host, now same thing you will do localhost 8080 PRWeb, and based on the operator that you use, it will go to various portals. It is a manager portal or a user portal. Based on the operator ID, it will decide. That we'll learn. That will learn slowly once we learn about the operators in PRPC. Okay. So this is what happening in the background. Clear? Hello, everybody. Yes or no?
Karthik, the question, see, now you have deployed it into a server, right? Let's say once you deployed it into production server, so the application user, let's say end user, who are the basically the operators, the end user, when they are going to access this application, they are going to use the URL, right? It's the same URL, and that URL will be providing. So
Yes.
in normal concept, if you create any application, we have that index page, and we rename the index page kind of to a URL, and we provide that URL. Basically the URL is again mapped to a one kind of IP address kind of thing, and in that box whatever is there, they can by putting the JSP page or ASP page, whatever it may be, they will access. So here also, I'm just trying to connect that Java concept a little bit, how it works here. So um, from the client also, you need to provide a URL here, and that URL they will be putting in the in the end user system, and they will access the application. Similarly, it does in other web application.
Yes. You will deploy your application in the same environment. The deployment process is also done in the same environment. It
Right.
is not a
Right.
different environment. Yeah. So now what's the question now?
No, no. After we deploy, let's say a remote user, let's say you made a public site, okay, using Pega, right? I'm saying something So can I give a, like, let's say if you say a leave application, so can I just use, like, okay, xyz.leave.com something, can I give it when it is created in the Pega system, and the client
Okay.
or end user may not have any kind of relation to this, and
Yes,
they
yes.
can just type
So
that one
you
and, like,
you
they
can,
can hit it. Yeah.
okay. So if I leave application.com, will it work or not? The question, right? So once it is deployed, once you build an application in PRPC, so now you have deployed on some remote server, some intranet or internet, whatever it is. Generally, we'll do it in intranet only. Okay. So first of all, you have to access the server, right, where it is deployed. So you will provide that server, and then you will access leave.com, leaveapplication.com. It will work. So this is a concept of web application. Whatever,
Okay.
even if it
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
Java application, once you deploy it on the server, then you have to access the server first. So in the
Right.
server, you
Yeah.
will have
That's
some servlets and PRWeb file. So from PRWeb, it will invoke the application.
right. The same things happen here also in the background, right?
Yes, yes, same thing will happen here also.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you.
Uh,
And sorry for taking time.
no, no, no problem, no problem. Yes. So these are the portals which are supported. So tomorrow, what we'll do is we'll create an application. Tomorrow, we'll create an application. We'll be working on an application called as insurance application. So tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll discuss about what this insurance application will do, and what is the application structure in PRPC. That also I'll discuss. So it's a layered structure in PRPC. The application structure is a layered structure. It has organization, division, and unit classes. So which is tomorrow onwards we'll actually start PRPC. So far we have learned only about the concepts. So tomorrow we'll be creating an application. Creating an application is just a 2 minutes process in PRPC. It is just a 2 minutes, not more. It will not take more than 2 minutes. But the way it creates, I mean, what kind of rules or what kind of things that it creates in the background, all those things you have to understand. That is very, very important. As this is a form-based development process, you have to open a wizard and you have to enter your application name and click on submit. That's it, done. It will create an application in the background. So once it is created in the background, what kind of infrastructure it supports as a part of application, that thing is very, very important, and that will serve as a crux or a basement for your application. You have to attend tomorrow's session. Okay? So which will be base and crux of your entire PRPC application. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thanks for joining. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Karthik.